Hello and welcome to the Grumpy Stew podcast. My name is Dylan. I am the Grumpy Stew, and you're listening to the comedy podcast for flight attendants. This is episode 52. Hey, how you doing? Me? I have a headache, but I'm doing this anyway. You know why? 2 whole people asked me to produce a new episode. So for you 2 whole people, here is a new episode. You're welcome. Up ahead, it's all the usual rants, raves, crass humor, maybe even a fart joke or 2, and aviation news commentary. And of course, I gotta talk about Angela Peery. I got contacted by the good Dr. Strangelove. That's all coming up on the Grumpy Stew podcast. But first, as usual, there's a message from our sponsor.
Folks, are you ready for a dining experience as American as it gets? Then buckle up and head on over to Bob's Roadside Kill Grill, where our motto is, you kill it, we grill it. Nothing screams freedom like enjoying the dinner you've personally road tested with your own truck. At Bob's, we don't just serve any old meat, we serve the meat you conquered on the open road. Howdy, y'all. It's Bob here. The man with the plan for your roadkill cuisine. Whether it's a hearty raccoon roast or a tender armadillo steak, we've got the flavors of the American wilderness right here on your plate. So grab your hunting gear or just your trusty pickup truck and swing on by Bob's Roadside Kill Grill for a meal that'll make Uncle Sam proud. Remember, you kill it, we grill it.
So, I've been thinking about something. I'm going to start a website, and it's going to be like Google, but for people 40 and up. So people my age and older, it's like a Google, and I'm going to call it, What the Fuck Does That Mean? Primarily to translate Gen Z to English, because I don't know what the fuck you people are saying half the time. Making up words. Oh my God, I'm confusion. Confusion? Do you mean confusing? I don't get it. I'm confusion. Or they'll say, okay, boomer. Okay, boomer. You realize that, like, the youngest boomers, absolute youngest baby boomers are in their 60s. Most of them are pushing 70 or older. Those are the boomers. So unless you're talking to somebody in their 70s, it doesn't really make sense. And someone's like, well, it's an attitude. Okay, if your fucking okay boomer shit requires an explanation, it doesn't make sense. Okay, boomer. Go fuck yourself. How does that sound? That makes sense. Go fuck yourself. The sister website to What the Fuck Does That Mean will be called Who the Fuck Was That? Because we can't remember anybody's name for some reason. Once you hit about 41, 42, names, completely gone. Completely gone. Can't remember a goddamn name to save my life. So you just plug that in there. The guy that was in that movie with the bus and the girl, and boom, Keanu Reeves. Right? Brilliant idea. $1 billion idea. Don't steal it. Okay, but a lot of this shit from the kids, it doesn't make sense. And this person is not a kid, not Gen Z. She's well older than that, and she named a kid Moroccan. I'm talking about Mariah Carey. She named a kid Moroccan. That's like naming a kid Oregonian. Vermonter. This is my kid, Vermonter. I could have said Vermont, but it's Vermonter. Or Steve. Or Billy, or Jane, or something normal. Moroccan. This is Moroccan. That doesn't make sense. There are still flat earthers on this planet. There are people on this planet walking around that think the planet is flat. And conveniently enough, their perspective, no matter where they are in the world, they always seem to be in the middle of the world. With their little pictures of the flat earth, they always seem to be right in the center. Very convenient. But flat earth, come on, that doesn't make sense. Never heard of the space program? Huh? Satellite imagery of the planet. Pictures of the Earth from the moon from the fucking 60s and 70s. Doesn't make sense. I had a lady request the chicken. I served her the chicken. Then she said she doesn't even like chicken. Not the chicken I served, chicken in general. I don't like chicken. Why did you order it? That doesn't make sense. Passengers that request shit we obviously don't have. Can I get a flat white? You have Starbucks coffee, right? Can I get a flat white? That doesn't make sense. Where do you see an espresso machine? Do you see a milk frother around here anywhere, you dumb bitch? Do you, have a copy machine? Do you have a fax machine? I need a fax machine. That doesn't make sense. But in speaking of these stupid fucking kids and the stupid shit they say, fit check. Oh my God, this is epic. This is iconic. That doesn't, first of all, not only does it not make sense, you look like a fucking clown. What the fuck are you wearing? Why are your sleeves going past your fingertips? Can they not, stop at your palm at least? No, they gotta go all the way, well past, the digits of your knuckle. They gotta go past your fucking fingertips now. You look ridiculous. That doesn't make sense. I was at a Target not that long ago and walked past the cosmetics section, and there's this girl there hawking makeup, and she looked like a fucking clown with all that shit on her face. She looked like a fucking clown. She had she had so much shit on her face it was cracking. She needed spackle to repair it. It was bizarre. She looked like a clown. Ringling Brothers is missing a clown out there somewhere, and I found her at Target in Forest Hills. Go find her. Go get her. She's over there. I saw a headline that said, "Hard landing kills skydiver." Well, isn't that what normally kills skydivers? It's not the gentle landing, right? I mean, surely it's the impact from the terminal velocity swan dive at altitude into the ground. That doesn't make sense. Of course it's a fucking hard landing that killed him. Come on. God damn. And the news is it's the worst. I can't watch local news. I was watching local news. Those little news teasers they do in between stories. Coming up, is her house making you fat? What? Are you normal? Yes? That doesn't make sense. I swear to God, I'm a victim. I'm a victim here. Clearly, I cannot be blamed for being so fucking grumpy. I'm a victim of stupid people. And I think I'm owed some restitution. But, here we are. Coming up on the Grumpy Stew podcast, I got a visitation from the Dr. Angela Peery on my Etsy store. That's all coming up, and I'll explain the whole Angela thing if you don't know who she is, a.k.a. Dr. Strangelove. But that's all coming up on the Grumpy Stew podcast.
Are you a lonely stew? Having a hard time meeting the right guy? Tired of the trashy singles bars and dating apps? Well, your answer is here. The Drunk Pilot Boyfriend Doll.
So drunk.
The Drunk Pilot Boyfriend Doll is life-size, anatomically correct, and fully functional.
I'm a grower, not a shower.
And he's hammered.
Oh my God.
Just like a real pilot, he'll eat all of your food.
This is free, right?
And comes with a mountain of child support and alimony debt.
Fuck.
Get your Drunk Pilot Boyfriend Doll today. Hurry while supplies last. The Drunk Pilot Boyfriend Doll.
You hear that? That's my little booth buddy. Purr, purr, purr. Yeah, that's Cheech. That's Mr. Cheech. So if you don't mind the sound of purring in the middle of everything, because there's no way he's leaving, we're going to continue on with the show. It's a Grumpy Stew podcast with my co-host, Cheech the cat. So, something that doesn't make sense to me is these people, it's mostly Americans, that feel the need to get extremely comfortable in public, especially on planes, like they wear pajamas in public, take their shoes off, and walk around in public with no shoes. Okay, I had to get rid of the cat. Walking around in public like planes. Planes are disgusting. They're walking around and going to the lavatory barefoot. Look, listen, in case you're not a flight attendant, you're listening to this and you just appreciate the humor or whatever it is, thanks. All right, let me explain something to you. Do not walk around a plane without shoes on, ever, for any reason. You're not paying rent and you're not moving in, so don't get that fucking comfortable. Okay? Wear some fucking shoes. I understand getting comfortable at your seat on like an 8-hour flight, something like that. But once you have to pee, put your shoes on or bring some slippers with you and then go to the lavatory. But don't be walking around my plane barefoot. Put something on your feet other than socks. And then go to the lavatory or come to the galley and ask for whatever you need. But don't get that fucking comfortable. Wear some fucking clothes, first of all. You need to look presentable. Wear some goddamn clothes. This is not your house. It's a public space. It's shared with other people who, frankly, are disgusting. So why don't you wear some clothes? Elevate the experience a little bit. The flight's not that. Unless you're going to Asia or the Middle East from the U.S., the flight's not that fucking long. I'm just saying. Going to Europe from the U.S. is nothing. Even from the West Coast, it's only like 10 hours. That's nothing. Come on. Wear some goddamn shoes. Act like you're civilized. Anyway, so this whole Angela Peery thing, she's a PhD, right? And she's like an educational consultant, which is really funny. And I'll kind of get to that part here in a second. It's part of the whole oeuvre of the story regarding Dr. Strangelove. But, she sends people emails littered with what's the word I'm thinking of? Typos. See, I'm an idiot. I can't say I'm over 40. I can't remember words anymore. See? What the fuck does that mean? All right, so littered with typos, and she's written books about literacy. Ironic, right? So, okay, Dr. Peery, educational consultant, and she is, a big muckety-muck frequent flyer with a certain airline. And this is what she did. This is what got her in trouble with the airline industry in general, and she's probably been doing it for years. She's one of those frequent flyers that, takes a note of a lot of little petty grievances, sends them over to the airline, and gets more miles. She calls them Sky Pesos. And it's her habit. It's her hobby. She does it for pleasure. She likes to do it, and she likes to send in these frivolous comments and complaints for additional miles. But what she also does is she takes pictures of crew members and puts it on Facebook in one of these, frequent flyer Facebook groups and sends in nasty complaints about the crew members. It's none of her business. One of them, she was complaining about the crew member being on their phone at their jump seat in between services. What else are you going to do? Stand there and look blankly into the aisle like a freaking robot? I mean, no, we sit down, we eat, we might look at our phone. And of course, there are these dickheads that on social media that defend her, and they're like, well, you shouldn't be looking at your phone anyway. Well, you're at work. You shouldn't be looking at your phone. What are you doing anyway? You should be working. Okay, this is just so fucking stupid. Are you seriously telling me that you sit at your office all fucking day and not once look at your phone or check personal email? Not once. It's just work. From the time you get there until you leave. Work. I'm all work. I'm the job. Work. I don't have a phone. What are you talking about? You're telling me the entire time you're at work, you don't check on your spouse. You don't check on your kids. You don't check the status of your Amazon shit. You don't check on your elderly parent. Whatever it is you got going on in your life outside of work. You don't check on that? Really? Ever? during the course of your day, you don't check on any of that shit. You wait until you actually leave the office. I find that very difficult to believe. Anyway, it's just, but that's what really got her into trouble. And she brags about it. That's the thing. She was bragging about it on social media about endangering someone's livelihood in exchange for miles. That's the person we're talking about here. That's the quality of her character. She's a fucking bitch. Okay? That's what we're talking about. Just that kind of sort of catches you up. I'm sure most of you know the Fly Guy. He's got a huge presence on the Facebook and Instagram. The Fly Guy had several posts that kind of revolved around the Dr. Strangelove thing. I call her that. Nobody else does. It's Dr. Angela Peery, Peery. And when this thing blew up, she was getting harassing messages from flight attendants on her website. She was getting nasty voicemails from people. Myself included, left nasty reviews for her books on Amazon. And, it's a little bit of payback. And she sent an email from her personal email account to Fly Guy. I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember exactly what it says, but basically she said it was a cease and desist. And there's an open investigation with the airline and the FBI. And if you don't stop, then I'll be blah, 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 blah. It's just an empty threat, right? This is the arrogance of this bitch. This is her arrogance. Because she thinks no one else knows how the world works. Because she's a fancy PhD and we're just lowly flight attendants, right? We don't know how things work. Listen, if you're ever in some sort of legal situation, maybe perhaps in business in your life outside of the airline or whatever you got going on, if you're ever served a cease and desist, it doesn't come in an email. Okay? That's first. A cease and desist comes from an attorney, and it's written and then mailed to you. It doesn't come in an email or text message or, WhatsApp. It doesn't come like that. It's a physical letter written by an attorney. If there were an investigation, particularly involving the feds, this is how this shit works. If she had, 1, retained counsel, and 2, had an investigation open, the first thing those 2 entities would have told her is shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Do not communicate. We'll take it from here. That's what happens when you retain counsel and have an open investigation. The people running the investigation don't want her meddling. Her attorney doesn't want her meddling. So the first thing they do is say, shut up, we'll handle it. Okay? That's how this works. But she's so fucking arrogant, she thinks no one else knows that. That's the kind of person she is. Besides, of course, trying to get people fired in exchange for money. So that's a nutshell of the whole kerfuffle revolving around Dr. Angela Peery. I call her Dr. Strangelove. And, we've been making fun of her for quite a while. Got a lot of mileage out of it. So, as you may or may not know, the Grumpy Stew has a merch store. You can find that at thegrumpystew.com. You can go to the merch store. It's the best way to support what I do. And there's all kinds of stuff. There's t-shirts, mugs, stickers, magnets, and some bag tags. I made some bag tags and a coffee mug using her image. And one of the first products I made was a coffee mug that says, I bought this mug with Sky Pesos. And I didn't edit the image, so she had a point there. But I also made a couple of bag tags with an edited image. And she sent me a message. I got contacted, everybody. I got a message from Dr. Strangelove on my Etsy store. And she says, you are not licensed to use my image. Remove all items that contain photos of me from your shop immediately or be prepared to pay civil damages, Angela Peery. Anyway, my other products I made revolving the Delta Karen is they use an edited image. And that's a key point here. It's an edited image. So I sent her a message explaining everything to her because, she's a PhD, so she automatically knows this, right? No, she doesn't. So I sent her a polite message, and I didn't tell her to go fuck herself. Should have, didn't. I kept it professional. And I'll read you the message verbatim. And it goes like this. I have removed the 2 coffee mug products that contain both your name and an unedited image. However, 2 additional products that contain a fictional name and an edited image will remain for the time being. Note that fair use doctrine allows for the use of edited images of persons for parody and comedic purposes as it falls under transformative use, where the original work is, quote, altered significantly to create a new humorous expression, unquote. This is supported by the precedent set in the case of Campbell versus Ackroft Rose Music Incorporated, where the Supreme Court recognized the transformative nature of parody as fair use. Another example, a case involving Brownback Films and Comedy Partners, creators of South Park. The court found Comedy Partners' use of a popular internet music video and an animated episode to be an obvious case of fair use. The court reasoned that Comedy Partners' video was clearly parody and transformative because it used only enough of the original dialogue and visual characteristics to lampoon the recent craze in society of watching video clips on the internet. This is kind of old. Any reasonable person would agree that the recent response to your behavior constitutes a recent craze in society. And that response is well documented throughout social media, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, negative book reviews on Amazon, and even a website bearing your full name and title, citing exactly what you have done with links to media articles and social media posts. I believe fair use applies. However, I am in consultation with a professional on the matter. If they disagree that fair use is applicable in this instance, I will then remove the additional products. But until then, they remain. And do you know what her response was? Crickets. Crickets. Nothing. You know why? Because I stood up to a bully. And she just assumed that the stupid flight attendant doesn't know anything. Well, guess what? I kind of know a couple things. And a lot of us do. And she's learning a very painful lesson. And hopefully it's been painful because she deserves it. She deserves everything coming to her because she intentionally endangered someone's livelihood in exchange for fucking sky miles and then bragged about it on social media. In fact, she's been kicked off of one of those Facebook groups for doing exactly that. And here's the kicker. And all airlines do this. They if you provide them any kind of feedback, they give you miles in exchange, right? For good feedback, for glowing feedback, for mediocre feedback, for negative feedback. They just want feedback. It's free. It costs them nothing to get that feedback. So that what they do, they give you some fucking miles. Because really, what does that cost them? Nothing. So she made a choice. That's what this boils down to. She made a choice to be negative and hurt someone in exchange for air miles. That's the person she is. So if you go on to grumpystew.com and click the link for the merch store, you will find several products bearing the image of Delta Karen herself. There are a couple of bag tags, some coffee mugs. Feel free to buy one. In fact, if you use the code Delta Karen, all one word, Delta Karen, you'll save 10%. The standard crew discount. It's not much. I know it's just 10%, but my margin is thin. And it kind of, it'll basically take care of your sales tax, depending on where you live. But there you go. That's the Dr. Angela Peery story. Dr. Strangelove. Delta Karen herself. What a bitch. Anyway, I think that's all the damage I can do today for the bi-monthly fucking episode. If you like this shit, you gotta let me know. Otherwise, I won't keep making it. But if you like it, let me know. Subscribe. Grumpy Stew's on the YouTube. It's on the Instagram. It's on the Threads. It's on the Facebook. The audio version of this podcast is wherever you can find podcasts. So if you like it, subscribe, hit the heart or the thumbs up or whatever the hell it is. But that's the only way I can find out if you even like this shit. All right. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later. See ya.